Chris, it's great to have you here. I know you know already that the Australian government has been doing work on Government 2.0 and state governments also. I have to say I have a perception it's struggling a bit. If you look at citizen-centric services, it's largely about accessing programs or doing some transactions. I think what you're talking about is much more a participatory democracy using social media.
That's right, yeah. I mean, the work that I've been doing in the UK and the US is really about kind of driving participation in democracy, and fundamental to that is around policy making. So a lot of the work we do is Gov2, but it's very focused on the nuts and bolts of democracy.
I noticed when you look at the work you've done for the Obama administration and for the Cameron coalition in the UK, it's about crowdsourcing. Now, what is this crowdsourcing?
We work in different stages of the policy-making process. Crowdsourcing works particularly well in early stages, so and particularly around when you have kind of challenges, problems to solve. So ultimately, President Obama likes to call it harnessing the collective intelligence of the people to solve problems. So technically, like from a process-driven perspective, you have a challenge, you have a problem. In the UK, we ran a programme 6 months ago called the Spending Challenge, and that was about how can the UK come up with ideas to save the government money. And so you have that simple proposition. You open up to the public, and the public provide ideas.
Yeah. So this is a quite new form of consultation that you've been, in fact, dealing with the Obama White House, with the new Cameron coalition government. Does it work?
Yeah, I mean, so really importantly, conceptually, crowdsourcing isn't just about ideas. It is harnessing the collective intelligence of the people. So that's two stages. One is about giving ideas, and the other is getting people to sort through those ideas, and that's really kind of fundamental to its success. So if you think of the processes we've done in the UK in the last 6 months, you're getting tens of thousands of ideas, hundreds of thousands of comments. And from an organisational perspective, a government perspective, the question is, how does a government organisation process those? And so what crowdsourcing does is get the people to help process that. So it is collectively helping government sort through those ideas, rate ideas so the best ideas come to the fore, creating a much more efficient process.
I know you talk a lot about the collective intelligence of the people. I suspect it must be a narrow borderline between that and, if you like, the mob rule or the disruptive influence of people who've got their own hobby horses to ride. How do you actually get that balance using the social media?
Sure. So a mix of the two. So all the process we run are post-moderated. So everything, all comments go live. So there is the opportunity for an unruly crowd to form. But at the same time, there is a sense of kind of mediation. But as you say, it is the collective intelligence of the people, and what you find is the crowd self-regulates.
I know that in the UK you've been doing some work on freedom and getting people's ideas on how to, in a sense, free up and deregulate society. Now, how did that work, and what have you learned from that process?
So the work we did around legislative reform was interesting. What we kind of found was there were two pots of kind of ideas that came up. Very broad ideas, ideas like reforming a smoking kind of laws, down to very specific ideas, things like reforming kind of dental regulation and things like that. And it was actually those specific ideas, those kind of rough diamonds, where the most value came.
Chris, do you actually have to go and moderate what people are saying? And is there an opportunity for people themselves to rank and prioritise what is being suggested?
No, that's right. So what happens is people go on and they rank and rate the ideas, and what you find is that the ideas like hanging and marijuana, etc., they do rise to the top from a comment and active debate perspective, but actually when you look at their ratings, they score very lowly. So the crowd, in that instance, proves to work.
And for the governments that you work for, do you find that out of this emerges, I suppose, policy directions which would not
they would not have done naturally, or would not come out of a, if you like, more traditional public service, civil service approach.
Yeah, no, completely. So in the spending challenge example for the Treasury, 3 ideas. I mean, about 15,000 ideas were suggested. 3 ideas were initially kind of taken up by the Treasury, and these were ideas that you really wouldn't have come up with. Like you, me, sat around a table would never ever have come up with.
Now, Chris, a lot of what you're doing is about engaging citizens in the political process. It also helps to make government much more open, transparent, accountable. From your perspective, I wonder how you, who work with government, look at WikiLeaks. Is it beneficial or not?
WikiLeaks certainly keeps governments on their toes, and I think that it's a very good way. For me, I think governments can learn a lot from what WikiLeaks have done, and I think what you see from a practical perspective is government. In one part of government, I think, will react kind of quite badly to it and close down. Another form of government, or progressive government, I think, will take lessons on board and move forward for the good.